third option is one of my favorite options for two reasons. One, it could give you an immediate passport, right? One of the biggest mistakes that you are doing right now is missing out on three permanent residencies that eventually get you solid, strong citizenships. Now, you might not like your country, or maybe certain things are not good about your country. Now, every country has its own issues. Some countries are draconian, crazy, they're going in the wrong direction. So, you want to have additional citizenships so you are protected in different ways, right? In your basket, you want a few options so you can pick the best out of all and then make your strategy accordingly. And this is for asset protection, legal protection, and diversification. It's common sense. Now, in this video, I'm going to discuss three low-hanging fruits, and it's not just about the temporary residency. I'm going to discuss three permanent residencies that you can grab right now. And one of the options, and by the way, before I discuss these options, one thing to note is that we specialize in getting these options at the fastest possible time, and we do this legally, which includes having the best attorney in a specific immigration office that's known for the fastest process, right? So even before you land, we create all your documentation, or rather we prep all your documentation. So the moment you're here, you optimize your time, you get the benefit at the fastest possible time. The first option is going to be a permanent residency on the same day. All right, so you land and you can get your card on the same day. This is one of the fastest options in the world, and my regular viewers might gotten a hint of what this option might be. This leads to a citizenship, which is the most powerful citizenship in the world, and by far. All right. That's going to be the first option. The second option is going to be a 15 days option. Let's say 7 days to 8 days to 15 days. You should have your permanent residency. This is also a very solid passport eventually. So I'm going to discuss this as the second option. And the third option is a premium offering. Less than 30 days, you can have this permanent residency. And this also has a smashing passport. It uses USD as its main currency. But before we get started with all these options, if you want to stay updated on all the changes, all the latest breaking news, then make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on any important analysis, tips, tricks, and hacks. The first one on this list is the Mexico permanent residency. Now, few people qualify for the permanent residency, and the rest of you all for sure have a good chance of qualifying for the temporary residency. It does not matter whether you have the temporary or the permanent, you're still going to get the citizenship in the same amount of time. That's the beauty of this, right? The only difference is that the permanent residency allows you to work in the country, or let's say you start a business, then it lets you work for that business. That's the only advantage. But if you're not looking for a Mexican employer, then the simple thing is to grab the temporary residency, start your clock. This is a flexible option, so you might live there if you want to. You don't need to. It's a flexible option, as I said, right? So it's a paper residency to begin with, and towards the end, then you put the right amount of time and you can get your citizenship. Now, what are some of the qualifying criteria for the permanent residency? And a lot of people actually don't know that, yes, you can get your Mexican permanent residency card in a single day. The qualifying criteria or the threshold is slightly higher. It's a qualifying passive income. Now, Mexico does have an active income route, which I'm going to discuss in the second half of this. But the passive income has to be qualifying passive income. It's around $6,000 to $7,000 a month. Okay. And then, or you have a bank balance of 200K in your bank, right? So either you're showing the income or you're showing the bank balance for a certain time frame, and then you can directly qualify for permanent residency. Now, as I said, this is not for the masses. This is for specific individuals, right? So that's the permanent residency option. The card, again, we are able to get it in a single day. And if you are interested in the permanent residency or the temporary, which I'm going to discuss in the second half, you can always click the link, book a call. We can discuss the criteria, the options, the next steps, and immediately get you started and schedule you for your landing process. All right. Now, most of you are going to, definitely qualify for the temporary residency because this is based on active income. and the active income amount is 4,250. A lot of you do qualify for this. Now, this used to be just some time ago, right? When we started promoting this option, this used to be 2,000 something, $2,700, and it has all of a sudden jumped up or bumped up to 4,250 per month. Now, the biggest mistake is to delay any further. This could very well jump to 5,000, 6,000, and then you're going to be priced out of this option. So it's very important to start this option right away, right now. Now, there is an alternative, right? Let's say you don't earn this much, then you can also show a bank balance, and this bank balance is much lower. It's $80,000 in your bank for a certain time, and then you can again qualify for the same temporary residency. Either residency leads to citizenship, that beautiful hot Mexican green passport. Initially, for the first 3 years, this is going to be very flexible. After the 3 years, if you are looking for the citizenship, then you're just looking at spending a year and a half in the country, and then you can apply for this powerful passport. The reason why I keep saying this is one of the most powerful passports in the world is because it has all the bells and whistles. It has the meaningful work access. So it has the APEC privilege. Mexico is a full APEC member. That means that you have business access to Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Singapore, South Korea, Russia, and there's so many countries like Chile, Peru, the list goes on. You have all the important countries that you have business access to. Your US passport or your Canadian passport or your British or your any other passport, any other Western passport does not have this feature. They might have the visa-free access, which is, in my opinion, irrelevant. The business access is much more powerful. Mexico also has excellent Latin coverage. Of course, it's a Latin country. And then it also has the ETA to Canada, and it also has the TN visa to US. The TN is, of course, a lot more powerful than the visa-free access. So that's Mexico. This is, as I said, with us legally, we are able to get this for our clients, the card for our clients in a single day, on the same day. The second option on this list is a permanent residency from Paraguay. Now, a lot of people are just told about the temporary residency because it's simple, but we are also able to get the permanent residency. This would take around 7 to 8 days. A temporary residency does not have any qualifying criteria. Almost anyone watching who's able to travel to Paraguay can obtain the temporary residency, a flexible 2-year pathway to permanent residency. And then once you're on the permanent residency, you spend 3 years and you apply for your Paraguayan citizenship. The permanent residency directly is possible, which I'm discussing in this video, and this is by giving a declaration that you plan to move some money in future in Paraguay. You don't have to move this money today. You plan to move this over the next 10 years. The threshold is ridiculously low. It's 75K, right? So what is the value of 75K after 10 years? So you got to keep that in mind. It's a very modest, very interesting option. You can immediately grab the permanent residency. That's the second option. Third option is one of my favorite options for two reasons. One, it could give you an immediate passport, right? A lot of people who have a single citizenship, let's say South Korea, is Japan, is Singapore, or is China, and you don't want to throw away your Chinese citizenship, then you can still obtain a passport for travel purposes. So Panama does offer that as part of its temporary residency program. This is a VIP kind of a program, but let's say here we are talking about the permanent residency. So permanent residency is possible in less than 30 days. You heard that right. We are able to get it on time for you. We have 3 specialized attorneys for this VIP option. Based on where you're landing in Panama, we can get you started immediately, so we don't waste time and get you this benefit as soon as possible. This option, right, the VIP option to permanent residency, requires you to invest some money in a property. This could be a beach facing beautiful condo that you can rent. A lot of Americans and Canadians are flocking to Panama for tourism purposes. So let's say you're renting it or you're personally living there with your family for some part of the year, and you can get this immediate permanent residency, which does lead to citizenship eventually, as long as you satisfy the minimum physical presence in the country. There's also a bonus option, which is Dominican Republic, a permanent residency. This, of course, takes slightly longer, and the objective of this video was to discuss options that are possible in 1 day, less than 15 days and less than 30 days. Again, as I said, if you aren't yet subscribed, make sure to smash that subscription button so you're notified of any important changes. And anytime you want to get started with any of these residency, this is the right time. Click the link, book a call. We can immediately discuss. We can get you started with all three or one or two options of your choice. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and catch you in the next one.